So, starting with Airbenders, Avatar: The Last Airbender is amazing. Like, it's such a good story, and I think something that does really well is having a variety of characters, which is what leads into kind of like the feel of D&D, having different classes and stuff like that. But we'll get on to that later. So, with the variety of characters, first you have Katara and Sokka. They're brother and sister. They're from the Water Tribe. They've been mostly raised by their mom as their dad's been away being a soldier and stuff. And Sokka's learned to be a soldier from his dad. He wants to be a soldier. And then they lose their mom. And they kind of lose their dad too. He disappears. And one day they find a little boy in an iceberg. And he's frozen in there. And he gets out and he has like an air bison, and that's an extinct animal. And he's an airbender, and that's an extinct like race of benders. And it's like, what? I think that's a super interesting idea with airbenders, in having Aang, at least in that series, be the last airbender. He's kind of the last of his kind. I thought like it'd be very interesting to see that in like Harry Potter or something like that. It's kind of the last thing, like the last Jedi. Not quite like that though, much better. But yeah, Aang, he's kind of like this character that he grows a lot throughout the series, but throughout it he really is that fun-loving character that has a strong moral like values, and he's just always wants to have fun and make friends. And yeah, and then there's Zuko, who has the most amazing like redemption and character arc ever. And Uncle Iroh, that's the best character. He's so amazing. I had a roommate in college who loved Uncle Iroh, and he's like, when I get old, I want to be like Uncle Iroh. And it's just like, yes, me too. And something that I think that's done so well with those characters is they start off like super surface level. This is a waterbender, this is an airbender, this is a firebender. Even when you meet Toph, she's blind, this is an earthbender. But there's so much depth that's built into the characters throughout the series. The different episodes, seeing them in their low points, like when Sokka and Katara are sick. Like Katara's usually the like taking care of everyone, kind of like the mom of the group. And when she can't do that anymore, like Aang has to go out and find help with frozen frogs. And then he ends up being saved by Zuko. And it's this, you see this different side of Zuko when he's like the blue mask guy. And I don't know, it's very interesting how they do that. And something that I really love is the side characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I think it adds a lot of character and depth to the story that is just so amazing. And another reason why I said like Airbenders is I feel like I relate the most to the Airbenders. Like my friends would ask me like which one of these benders you want to be, and I would probably say an Airbender. They're just kind of chill and meditative and really value nature and people around them and stuff. If not that, then maybe a waterbender, but I don't like the cold, and a lot of the waterbenders are in cold places. So yeah, I'm just cozy up in my blanket. So yeah, that's like one of the huge things with Avatar: The Last Airbender is the story of these characters are like Team Avatar, and they tried doing that again with like Legend of Korra. I think they did pretty well. They did okay. Like I actually kind of like Legend of Korra. I think it's a cool series in its own right. But with all this talk about series, all these ideas, all this ideation and brainstorming, it comes from a writer's room. I was watching a show today, and it kind of talked about writer's rooms, or like a story room, where you kind of go in and it's empty. It's blank. The story has not been created. And you just kind of start throwing out ideas, and then there's these times where ideas just come. It's like not even like verbally communicating with others, like, and being like, hey, what ideas do you have? It's just the ideas are coming. And I felt that in coming up with ideas for Uptown Warriors. And just like the ideas come and you're like, yeah, and this would be a really cool like story point for Finn in this episode. And it's just been really cool. And I really love writers' rooms, and I've had a couple of experiences with kind of like writers' rooms. One of them was I was a writer for a sketch comedy group, and we were writing a like parody musical of Star Wars, and it was like West Side Story, so we call it Dark Side Story, and got to write a song for Palpatine to sing when he's talking with Anakin at like the bubble opera, or what we called the Bopera. And it was just really cool, and to work on the song, and co-write that song. I think that was really cool. And then I also got to do, in order to get into that, I had to write a sketch with someone, just a random person, and we wrote a sketch together. And it was just really cool, like figuring out comedy and comedic moments and where the punchline of the sketch would be. And yeah, I don't know, it was just really cool.